this video, I'm going to be talking about just some compression tips to help you get started, or if you're a beginner, just help you get more comfortable with using a compressor. So the first tip I have here is how to tell if you are over compressing something. And it's very simple. When you are looking at your compressor, you have your meter here, your gain reduction meter. And here's the rule of thumb, if your meter isn't returning to zero several times during a bar, then you're likely over compressing. Like if the meter is constantly going, then you're likely over compressing. And I'll show you the example here. So,
happy birthday, and I feel the way that every child should.
So if you notice, it's returning to zero several times while I'm singing, not just in areas of silence, because I've set my threshold to like 15 here, and I've got a ratio of 1.5 to 1. My attack's 10, my release is 48, and that's kind of how I've had it set up. Now imagine if I start crushing it here. Watch what happens.
Sit and listen, sit and listen. Be nervous, no one knew me, no one knew me.
Okay, so what's happening here is I've turned my threshold up a little bit. I've added more ratio. And what's happening is now this thing is just compressing on every single line, every single bar of the vocal. And that's probably compressing too much, especially on a vocal. So my recommendation would be, when you're trying to compress, do it more subtly, unless of course you're going for some sort of compressed effect, which depending on the type of music does happen. Try to keep focused on making sure that this thing is hitting, it's not moving, at least at some points, because you just want to compress your highest points. You don't want to compress everything necessarily. So another quick compression tip I wanted to address. Now, when I was initially in the other video talking about the different settings of the compressor, I kind of glossed over this auto gain feature. Now, there's a lot of debate around this, but many people would say that you should not use the auto gain feature. I tend to think that if you're really unsure, you can use it, but try not to. And really your goal is to have your input gain match your output gain. So you should, if you're compressing, then your output gain should make up for that. So in this case, if I've got this vocal with an attack time of 10 milliseconds, 2.7 to 1 ratio, I could make it a 3 to 1, or 3.1 to 1 rather, then I can set my output gain to make everything louder.
Hello teacher, tell me what's my lesson. Look right through me, look right through me. Find it hard to take when people run in circles. It's a very, very mad.
So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to make it so that my input gain and my output gain are roughly equal. And that's just the idea of using gain as opposed to auto gain. Of course, you can always just use auto gain if you wanted to. Some people will not recommend that though. The other thing you can do is you can actually increase your gain so that it's louder coming out of the compressor than it is going in. And a lot of people will do this because they want to compress to make certain elements stand out. So if your vocal is kind of a little too quiet and it's sitting in the back and you want it to be more up front, then a smart application of compression can allow you to do that and gain things up.